Okay, I'd like to bring the meeting to order for the Planning Board of the Town of Brunswick for February 3rd, 2022. Could everybody please rise?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, our agenda this evening is as follows, as it was posted on the town website and the town board. Number 1, Dish Wireless Site Plan. Applicant seeks to add 3 antenna to an existing cell tower on property located at 809 Hoosick Road. Dish Wireless LLC is the applicant. Number 2, Tangretti, waiver of subdivision. Applicant seeks to subdivide 4.96 acres from property located on 15 Eagle Ridge and transfer it to property located at 210 Peninsula Lane. Charles Tangretti is the applicant. Number 3, Borrego Solar, special use permit and site plan. This was tentative. The applicant is not ready to come before our meeting, so that has been struck from the agenda tonight. Our first business item is to review and approve the minutes of January 6th. Has everybody had an opportunity to look at those? Are there any corrections, additions, or comments on the minutes? Okay, I'll make a motion that they be accepted as presented. Would somebody second that, please?
I'll second.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor of approving the minutes? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, just for the record, the meeting of January 20th was canceled. There was a notice of cancellation made, so there are no minutes and therefore no action has to be taken there. So now we get into our agenda items. First on this is the Dish Wireless Site Plan. And Ron LaBerge, are you going to come up and discuss this a little bit? I know there was a engineering study, or there was a study on our main concern, should I say, was whether the additional antenna could be carried on that tower and so forth and so on.
So they did submit a structural report and did identify that the additional array has 3, I believe it's 3 panels, can be supported by the tower. We concur with that. It was pretty straightforward evaluation. So we didn't see any issue with that. They also provided the radio frequency report, which indicates that we don't have any excessive emission at ground level. It meets all the codes. Probably my only real comment on this, and actually Chuck, I think you picked it up when the plans first came in, was just making sure that the code citations on the front page of the document were corrected. They indicated they would do that, but I'm not sure you actually received those.
I have received a letter.
That's it, though.
Yes.
That's that. I mean, if that satisfies the building department, then I don't have any other comments about that. Again, I mean, it's sort of a very straightforward application here. If there's any other particular questions, like the board would like me to address. As noted in my letter, the environmental assessment form was a little lacking, but I don't believe it really is anything of import to making an environmental determination since it's on an existing tower. And
I have a couple procedural questions as trying to move forward. Is this within 500 feet of the state highway? Do we have to submit a letter to Rensselaer County Economic Development?
And I will confirm that.
And your name, please, for the record?
Deborah, Borah, Burke, Burke.
Okay, thank you.
It is, actually, within 500 feet, based on the site plan. Keeping in mind that this is a leased parcel on a site, right? So it's, I mean, the site obviously is directly adjacent to the state highway. I'm not sure how that would be interpreted, but the leased parcel as well is within 500 feet.
Yeah, I got 436.
So we're required to submit a comment letter to Spencer County for their review. Okay, secondly, as far as moving forward, we obviously they have a little bit of a hang up there, but we have to determine whether this is actually a new site plan or an amendment to an old site plan. Are you treating this as an amendment to an old site?
I would
plan?
think this would be an amendment. It's basically just the actual ground disturbance, not disturbance, but coverage, additional ground coverage is only about 35 square feet. So I think it's an amendment to a site
Okay.
plan.
Well, I would have to canvass the board here whether they want to have a public hearing or not. If we classify it as an amendment, there's no need. And an additional public hearing is at the discretion of the board. So, yes?
So it's within the existing approved lease area, and other comments that I've been at, it's considered within that area that doesn't need, a further public hearing approval, because it's within the area that's already been approved.
Well, yes,
Operating within the fence and everything, so we're not expanding the area at all.
correct. That's what we're trying, just for the record, we're determining that at this point. So I'm going to now address the board. My opinion is that this is an amendment to an existing site plan, and a public hearing is not needed.
I would agree with that.
I agree with that.
Agree.
Agree.
I know you just walked in here.
Are we getting a pay raise or?
Agree.
Yes, we're having a pay raise. What do you say?
I agree.
Okay. I think everybody kind of concurs that a public hearing is not required, and we're going to treat this as an amendment officially on the record. Are there any questions on this from the board as far as the site plan? Any questions on the information that Ron LaBerge has just offered us? I know our main concern, like I said before, was whether the existing tower can handle the additional load and so forth and so on. That was our main concern. And that seems to be answered. I think we could move forward, except for the fact that we now.
I'll get it down there tomorrow, first thing.
Okay. So, does anybody have any other questions?
And just think in the matter that we have time on our hands, we should accept a revised seeker that's corrected, and the code, as you said, the code citations on the plan.
That was on the front cover of the plan.
Yep.
Right.
That those get submitted before our next meeting.
I think Gerald told me that he resubmitted the environmental. Did you receive his form?
Yeah, it's right in front of
Oh.
everybody.
Sorry, I
you
didn't get
received
to
a
the
new one,
back of the
Chuck?
page.
You received an updated one today or
Yes.
yesterday? Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah, they FedExed in yesterday. Showed it yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that is what I have in front of all the members now.
So the only thing we needed is a corrected photo shoot, is that correct?
For the plans.
Yeah,
those were actually on the plans. You don't have the plans in front of you.
okay.
For me, I was okay with the latter, if we can have, like Linda stated, we can have the cover sheet resent for the plans with the proper code in there. We have the time now.
Okay.
Right.
And they are, and Daryl said that he's waiting for that to come back. He's requested it.
Wayne, do you have any questions?
I have to recuse myself from this application because my firm had done some of the survey for this project.
That's how.
Okay. Yeah, well, I know, that's why
So we
Ron
are
said.
on.
So therefore.
I always like to, get a little
Variety. Right.
input from our engineer.
So depending
Not,
upon.
Ron, not that you're not our.
That's
engineer.
okay. I understand perfectly. Do more service.
Do you have any other questions?
No, I did. I kind of looked at this as a pretty straightforward
Yeah.
application.
I agree with you, and unfortunately, we don't have the letter from Rensselaer County at this time, so I'm sure that we should be able to get it back by our next meeting.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
So why don't I put you on the agenda for the next meeting, and then we'll move forward with hopefully an approval on it, all right?
Very
Will
good.
we need to be present for that, or is that a formality?
Probably, I don't know, I'll refer to,
Entirely within the discretion of the applicant. I don't think the board should say one way or the other. There will be final action that needs to be taken. We don't yet know if there's any comments from Rensselaer County. So leave that up to the applicant.
We'll be
okay,
in touch before that.
all right. If there are no comments, then I would say that, that's up to you whether you want to attend or not. We'll just move forward with it. Okay? So that meeting is scheduled for the 17th. Before you go, in another matter,
No,
could you just, I know we got this technical report.
yes, the stability analysis was requested from, for Brunswick Acres.
Okay,
I just started to look at that today because the one that was originally sent, I think you have the second version.
yeah, I have the second one there.
Right, it wasn't signed and there were pages missing, so we really haven't delved into that yet. We'll probably have a letter or some comments on it early next week.
Just to, refresh the board on this. This has to do with the Brunswick Acres.
Correct, this has to do with Brunswick Acres and it was asked for because they have about 90,000 yards of material that they have to put someplace. And they basically want to put it at the top of the cut they're making. And we just want to make sure that, the slope underneath it doesn't get away from the weight. It's a considerable amount of weight being put up there. So we asked for that analysis.
Okay,
I mean, but my cursory glance says they say that it should be fine. It's a factor of safety, but again, we'll look at that and report back. And
do you have a feel for when they may want to come before our board again?
I really don't. I mean, I thought for sure we'd have this months ago.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. So it's really gonna be up to them once.
Okay, I didn't know whether you had contact with the,
No, I haven't talked to Mr. Carey yet. I'll probably talk with him next week.
okay,
Okay?
yep,
Very
thank
good.
you.
Have a good night, everybody, and Happy New Year to the folks. I did wish Happy New Year.
Okay, thank you. Take care.
Very good.
Okay, second on our agenda is Tangretti, waiver of subdivision. Is there anybody here for that? Okay, come on up. And you are?
I'm Charles Tangerty.
Okay. And why don't you briefly just tell us what you want to do here?
I'm looking to subdivide a piece of my land on the east side of the National Grid power lines that butts up to Eagle Ridge development. I'm gonna subdivide it. It's roughly 5 acres to Stephen Ames.
Okay,
He has a 1 acre parcel on Eagle Ridge, Stephen Ames. We did I believe it's called Chuck, you can correct me on this, a lot line adjustment to connect his 1 acre to my 5 acres.
now the way that parcel sits right now, has that always had access to the cul-de-sac on Eagle Ridge?
His or mine?
Well,
He has 1 acre, a 1 acre parcel in front of my 5 acres that has always had road access.
That's lot 12.
I believe so.
Yeah.
okay, I see now, okay.
It's 53.56 feet of frontage on the cul-de-sac.
And you're gonna give it to, it's gonna be merged with lot 13. Well, this is that correct?
Lot 12?
I believe his lot, sorry, I'm not familiar with his lot.
Lot 5.
Uh,
Lot 5 of the
Yeah.
subdivision off of Menemsha.
yeah, lot 5.
Okay. Okay, I was looking at it real quick and I thought that your lot actually had part of, had access to the cul-de-sac. It does not. This is a triangular lot. It's basically divided off by the power grid, or the national grid right away, which makes it pretty much landlocked. Is that correct?
Yeah,
So you're giving him that, okay.
Yep, yep.
All right. And in essence, this is like a lot line adjustment for us.
that's what I was told, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm not familiar with the terminology, so. my apologies.
That's okay, sometimes we're not either. Okay, anybody have any questions? It looks fairly straightforward. It looks like it's a lot line adjustment. You know you'd have to have these two lots merged, and a new tax map submitted to the town.
I do have one copy of the meets and bounds.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions on this? Wayne, do you have any questions, now that you are our engineer again?
Well, thanks for having me. Yeah, when he was in before, all he had shown us was just the old subdivision map, and he had Rod Michael provide a map just to show what action's being taken on this map, showing the lot line adjustment with, and clearly showing which parcel of your land you were going to provide to Ames.
Yes, sir.
And it is sealed and signed by the surveyor. It all looks pretty straightforward to me. I don't have any questions.
Okay. Does anybody else on the board have any questions? Andy, do you have any comments on this?
I do not.
Okay. And we could move forward with an approval on this. I will ask for a motion for a declaration of the seeker.
I'll make that negative declaration.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And now on the approval of the waiver. Just a standard condition that it be,
Right, that the area to be divided from the Tangredi lot and transferred to, is it Eames?
It's Eames, yeah. I
Eames?
think he put it in the trust name too.
Well,
yeah.
to Eames.
Yep.
yes.
is to be merged into the Eames parcel, and you're not creating a new building lot.
Okay,
And that proof of that merger filed with the building department.
Which would be the meets and bounds that I have now.
Generally, it's, once it's deeded out with that new meets and bounds description, just file a copy of the deed with the building department.
You got it. No problem.
the only question I have is, do we need any type of correspondence from the buyer at this point? We do not, do we?
Well, we've got the current owner of the parcel in front of us, so, he's dividing that off to transfer.
Well, I know sometimes we have the buyer that's doing the,
Right,
Waiver.
the application's properly in front of you by the owner. And we certainly have the representation by the owner that it's to be transferred to Eames,
Okay.
and you've conditioned it on transferring into the Eames parcel.
okay. Okay, with those conditions, I'll ask for a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, do I have a second on that?
I'll second.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? You're all set.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
I'll take the large maps back. You got one? Anybody else got a large? No, I think we only got it three.
Are you going to stamp those tonight?
I can.
Yeah, if you want to sign them.
Andy, or?
Sure.
Okay, I'll take care of it. Here's another one. Okay, finally on our agenda was a Borrego Solar, and they have not submitted any new materials for us. So we will take them off our agenda until further notice.
Okay.
All right. So we have one item
Item
under,
waiver over on Spring Avenue, the old Welch farm,
yeah,
taking 1 3-acre parcel off of the northwest corner, I believe. I've had our MS4 coordinator look at it, and he assures me that it's not a wetland.
we want to take a 3.29 acre building lot, which is designated on this drawing as the proposed lot, and break it off from the large part. Mr. Manoa,
Getting around it.
is there any real issues with this?
Getting around it.
I know Brian Holbert who did the survey, and he must not have thought there wasn't anything really pressing about it if he isn't here.
Well, I told him the new policy is that we bring stuff in under new business and it doesn't go on the agenda till the following meeting. So
Okay.
that's the way that's the way we supposed to do
Well,
it.
we don't need any additional information from the applicant. We can put them on the agenda for our next meeting. And that would be on the 17th. Okay? I assume there wasn't any questions on that, was there? You didn't have any questions, Wayne, did you?
No.
Perfect. Okay. Is there any other new business?
That was it.
Is there any old business?
What is the status of Vickers?
Oh, you'll see in the packets there is a letter from Mr. Vickers withdrawing or actually requesting that we put it on hold.
We'll get that clarified, that whether it's been asked to be adjourned for a short period of time or whether the application's withdrawn. You can't pend in,
That's kind of what I thought.
yeah.
I talked to Flora Lee Ashdown. I don't know, you want the long story or the short story? Her father bought that piece of land. He had originally owned the farm at the end of Flower Road. he came into a situation where he deeded it over to his brother. Then he was afraid he wasn't gonna get it back, so they bought that piece of land from Edson Krieger. That's why they had the right of way into Krieger Lane apparently.
Ah,
And that's why it's landlocked to the right of way. And then he got his farm back eventually, and then, so that's how it ended up being landlocked and how the right of way got to Krieger Lane. So,
Didn't we leave it though that the primary thing that he had to do was develop a maintenance agreement with the,
Oh, yes, and
Did
the
he-
proposal of the road and the design of the road, when he went out to put that to quote, it was, I believe, found it to be quite expensive.
well,
Yeah. So, I think that's where it stopped.
the right of way goes with the lot on the other side of him.
Right, which is owned by,
And then he's adding on to the right of way, which I don't know if you can really. The right of way wasn't to his property, it was to the next property.
yeah, which is.
But it benefits-
Currently owned by Mansfield Brady.
it benefits Dayton, it benefits him, and it benefits Ashdown's former
Right.
parcel. And it's over partially Whitbeck's parcel.
Right.
It's like a law school question. What rights the parties? I don't know. It's
Yeah.
a tough one.
all right, and we're gonna determine, the building department will determine what he wants to do and what his options are. Okay. Thank you. Any other old business?
It's either pouring the foundation for Hannaford.
Sure are, 70 yards today.
Really?
It's a muddy mess.
Well, I'm surprised it isn't moving with all the explosions on the other side.
It's, when the concrete is wet, that vibration creates good compaction.
So they're working together, is that what you're saying? Okay,
And Harbor Freight's gonna beat them all.
Yeah, it's blocking pretty good.
they're blocking already?
Yeah.
We got the back wall done and
Good for them. All right. Does anybody have any other questions, other old business or any other things they wish to discuss? Okay, hearing none, I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Next meeting is on February 17th. And right now, the only thing we have on the agenda is the Dish Wireless. As far as I know.
Oh, and
Over
Brian.
Yeah, well, it's just-
Oh, yeah, Brian Holden, right? That's true. Okay. So we have 2 items on the agenda. Perfect. All right.